Hi boys and girls, today is Tuesday, January 12th, and you are in Station 2. Today we are going to read a funny story called Goldilocks and the Three Dinosaurs. So we all know the classic tale of Goldilocks and the Three Bears, but this one has dinosaurs in it, and I think you're gonna really like it. So as we're reading, remember, here are your vocabulary words that you are going to hear in the book: groggy, barging, expression, traipsing, varying, and position. Make sure you have out your reading notebook because you will also need it. Goldilocks and the Three Dinosaurs. Once upon a time, there were three dinosaurs: Papa Dinosaur, Mama Dinosaur, and some other dinosaur who happened to be visiting from Norway. One day, for no particular reason, the three dinosaurs made up their beds, positioned their chairs just so, and cooked 3 bowls of delicious chocolate pudding at varying temperatures. "Oh boy," said Papa Dinosaur in his loud, booming voice, "it's finally time to leave and go to the someplace else." "Yes," continued Mama Dinosaur, "I sure hope no innocent little succulent child happens by our unlocked home while we are someplace else." Then the other dinosaur made a loud noise that sounded like a big evil laugh, but was probably just a polite Norwegian expression. The three dinosaurs went someplace else and were definitely not hiding in the woods, waiting for an unsuspecting kid to come by. Sure enough, 5 minutes later, a poorly supervised little girl named Goldilocks came traipsing along. Just then, the forest boomed with what could have been a dinosaur yelling, "Gotcha!" But I'm pretty sure it was just the wind. The loud noise was immediately followed by another loud noise that sounded kind of like, "Be patient, Papa Dinosaur, the trap is not yet sprung." But that could have just been a rock falling or a squirrel. Either way, Goldilocks was not the type of little girl who listened to anyone or anything. For example, Goldilocks never listened to warnings about the dangers of barging into strange, enormous houses. So, as soon as Goldilocks came across a strange, enormous house, she just barged right in. Inside, Goldilocks immediately smelled the 3 bowls of delicious chocolate pudding. "Mmm," said Goldilocks, "that chocolate pudding smells delicious. If only I could get all the way up to the top of the counter." Then Goldilocks noticed a very tall ladder that just happened to be there and certainly wasn't left on purpose. Goldilocks climbed up the ladder and found herself face to face with 3 gigantic bowls of chocolate pudding. The first bowl of chocolate pudding was way too hot, but Goldilocks ate it all anyway because, I mean, hey, it's chocolate pudding, right? The second bowl of chocolate pudding was way too cold. But who cares about temperature when you've got a big bowl of chocolate pudding? Not her. The third bowl of chocolate pudding was just right. But Goldilocks was on such a roll by now, she hardly even noticed and ate it anyways. Soon, Goldilocks was stuffed like one of those delicious chocolate-filled little girl bonbons, which, by the way, are totally not the favorite things in the whole world for hungry dinosaurs. Tired and groggy, Goldilocks noticed 3 chairs in the living room, so she climbed down the ladder and walked out of the kitchen. Okay, so it says that Goldilocks was tired and groggy. Remember, think about what groggy means. It means sleepy or weak. So it says, tired and groggy, Goldilocks noticed 3 chairs in the living room, so she climbed down the ladder and walked out of the kitchen. In just a second, you're going to pause the video, and in your reading notebook, I want you to write me a sentence telling me why you think Goldilocks is groggy. So in your notebook, I want you to write me a sentence telling me why you think Goldilocks is groggy. Pause the video and unpause when you're ready. All right, boys and girls, I hope you have that answer in your notebook. Did you say something along the lines of Goldilocks is tired and groggy because she ate all 3 bowls of chocolate pudding? If so, you are correct. It made her very tired because she ate way too much. So she climbed down and walked out of the kitchen. The first chair was too tall. The second chair was too tall. But the third chair, well, that third chair was still too tall. Goldilocks wasn't going to climb that high just to sit in some chair, so she hiked on over to the bedroom. When she got there, Goldilocks noticed that the beds were also gigantically big. "What is going on around here?" said the exhausted girl. "The bears that live here must be nuts." So she says the bears that live here must be nuts. You don't need to respond in your notebook and write in your notebook, but just think for a second. What is it at this point in the story that she does not know yet? She said the bears that live here must be nuts, but who lives there? Dinosaurs. Just then, the room filled with a loud booming noise that was either a passing truck or a dinosaur gloating. "A few more minutes and she'll be asleep. Delicious chocolate-filled bonbons are yummier when they are rested." Even a little girl who never listens to anyone or anything had to hear that. And if you see right here in the windows, you notice the dinosaurs are peeking in at her. They're waiting for her to fall asleep. Goldilocks took a minute to stop and think, which was longer than she was used to stopping and thinking, because remember, this is the girl that really doesn't pay attention to things and just rushes and does not take the time to think about things. So she stopped to think longer than what she normally does. "Hey," she told herself, "this isn't some bear's house. This is some dinosaur's house." Say what you like about Goldilocks, but she was no fool. As quickly as she could, she ran to the back door and got out of there. Just then, a loud plane flew by, which sounded pretty much like, really, a trio of dinosaurs yelling, "Now!" or "Charge!" or the Norwegian expression for "Chewy Bonbon time!" Suddenly, and completely coincidentally, the 3 dinosaurs rushed through the front door. But they were too late. Goldilocks was gone, and all that was left in the house were 3 disappointed dinosaurs. The end. And the moral is, if you ever find yourself in the wrong story, leave. She thought she was in the story of Goldilocks and the 3 bears, but she was in the story of Goldilocks and the 3 dinosaurs. And the moral for the dinosaurs is, always lock the back door. Otherwise, your plan will fall apart. And that is the end. So let's talk about the story structure for just a second. So remember, the way the story is laid out and organized is the structure. We have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and the events in the story is what makes the story fun and exciting and what it is. Think about this story, and if we would have taken out the problem, would it have been a fun story to read? So you would have had Goldilocks, and you would have had the 3 dinosaurs, but they wouldn't have been trying to trick her or trap her into coming into their home so she could become their little bonbon that they wanted to eat. So really, if you take out all that stuff, you just have a story of Goldilocks and 3 dinosaurs, but no events happening. That wouldn't be a fun story to read. That would be kind of boring. So it's the challenges and the obstacles that the characters face and how they try to get past those challenges that makes the story so much fun to read. So let's think again for just a second. So in the story, the dinosaurs, they got their house ready for Goldilocks, for a visitor. They did some things. What is it that they did to get their house ready? I want you to pause the video and I want you to write 2 things in your notebook. You don't have to write like the complete sentences. Just tell me 2 things that the dinosaurs did to get their house ready for the visitor. When you are finished, you may unpause the video. All right, some of the things that the dinosaurs did to get their house ready for a visitor were they made the beds, they cooked chocolate pudding at varying temperatures, and they even laid a ladder out because they knew that Goldilocks wouldn't be able to reach the chairs or the chocolate pudding if she didn't have a way to climb up to the counter. So they laid that ladder out so she could climb up to the counter and eat that chocolate pudding. So those are some of the ways they got their house ready. So they wanted Goldilocks to come in and they wanted her to eat that chocolate pudding and they wanted her to rest and take a nap, but she kind of became too smart and finally came to it and left and realized what was going on. All right, you are now ready for Station 3.